Hi everybody, Krista here for your weekly reading for the week of May 6th April 30th to May 6th. Got ahead of myself. So this is the weekly reading for the sign of Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. There's a link in the description box if you don't already know your Moon and Rising sign, called alwaysastrology.com. Just punch in your information there to learn more about your entire birth chart. If for any reason the Aries reading doesn't resonate with you, you can always try your Moon and Rising sign readings and see if those resonate a little better. But I do hope this resonates for all my Aries, Sun, Moon, and Risings. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different spread that I did, well, the same kind of spread, but using a different deck for the 3-card spread. Central issue, 2 qualifiers in the back of the deck for general energy for the week, and then I'll be pulling from the other 2 decks here for some additional messages. Using the same decks as I always have, as I really adore these decks. The Healing with the Angels Oracle I'll be using as the central deck this week because I'm really feeling over the past week that we need a lot of healing. Humanity in general, and we really need to hear some general messages around healing and around definitive spirituality. So if I haven't already frightened you off, let's continue. And then we'll be drawing for additional messages from the Medicine Card Tarot and the Wisdom of the Oracle Tarot here. I sound a little bit fuzzy because I have allergies all of a sudden, so if I'm sniffling or anything like that, please forgive me. What shall we do next? So information about me or how to contact me are in the description box as well, as usual. So I think we're just going to go ahead, Aries, and start your general reading for the week. So we're looking at general messages for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising for April 30th to May 6th. So I wish for Aries all success, joy, and wellness. I invoke spirits of love, light, and beauty. I call upon Archangels Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, and Uriel to guide this reading in peace, clarity, protection, and wisdom. So we're just looking at general messages for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week of April 30th to May 6th. This has been a long, probably arduous feeling past few weeks, Aries, no different than all the other signs, as Taurus is finally coming out of Mercury retrograde. We're looking at a clear escape from Taurus in retrograde beginning the week of May 3rd, I believe. So if anything has been upsetting in the department of relationships, possessions, appearances, glamour, estate, anything having to do with the sign of Taurus, frankly, beauty, love interests, what you love, what you don't love. It's been a little bit of a heavy month, sort of going over all those issues in our lives. So we're looking, well, I guess I am. I'm looking for some spiritual guidance this week for all of my astrological signs. So this is lovely. Aries, in the central position you have listening, and to the right is music, and to the left is meditation. So we'll examine these in detail in just a moment. And at the bottom of the deck for overall energy for the week, Aries, is the card Celebration. So you may be feeling that coming out of the Taurus in retrograde is a reason for celebration, or you've finally come to terms with something or made a decision about something that you've been plodding through or planning for the last little while. Or it could simply mean that something that had been bothering you or had been giving you trouble is now no longer an issue in your life because it has rid itself, or you've rid yourself of it, which is even greater cause for celebration because it means that you would have faced it. We can't rid ourselves of troubles or issues or concepts or even illness without facing what those concepts or thoughts bring into our life. So if you spend any energy this week working through something in order to rid yourself of it, or to get to the bottom of it, or to learn something new about yourself that you didn't know before, that you take a lot of pride and joy in, this is a great deal of a great reason to celebrate. There also could be, if this isn't happening to you, Aries, this could be an element of celebration for you or people around you this week. Or you could be celebrating with other people. Other people have cause or reason for celebration. But I'm going to suggest that this is you in your own life, that you're celebrating something very particular to yourself, and I'm suggesting that it is something that you rid yourself of. It could even be a worry or a concern that was taking up time and heart space. So congratulations on being able to let that go. It appears as though you're going to be much freer and happier because of it. So looking at the central position card, Aries, we have listening. So you can see that there is a woman who's looking at what appears to be an angel for some advice, I assume, here, and she's even leaning a little bit on his wing. And these are non-gendered. If you want that to be a woman and that to be a man, that's fine, however you identify. But she's finding a lot of solace in this position here, looking and listening and even being patient in the process of listening. And I'm going to suggest this week for you, Aries, being a fire sign and being action orientated, to perhaps let something that you are opinionated about or are heady about or have always believed, to just one of those things, or one thing that is large as a concept or a belief system in your life. I'm going to ask this week, Aries, that you take that and examine it as objectively as possible while asking for help. So even if that's your inner voice, excuse me, or if that is through an angelic source, pardon me, I'm not used to allergies. Or it could simply be someone that you're turning to for advice, someone who is an expert that you don't even have to know in person. So thankfully, because of things like the internet, for example, you can watch a video that someone did about something that you're really interested in examining in your own life. So if you've been active in this situation before, where you've always just taken action or always gone the same way, I'm going to suggest that you really examine a concept or a belief system particularly this week, but you do so in terms of listening to what you can about it, not doing, it's called bias. It's some kind of bias where if you already believe something, you're going to keep looking up other people who are talking about that to create, confirmation bias. So this week I'm going to ask that you get a little bit away from that and examine something that you feel deserves an examination, but through other experts or people who've already been there or who are challenging your worldview about that belief system or concept this week. It could be through another person, one person in particular, or another individual. But the whole point here, Aries, is to tune in, okay? To tune in to something that has been bothering you or that you don't know is working anymore or that you're just curious about, that you're willing to pick apart objectively without your feelings, without your biases or even preferences involved. And give it a go. See what the examination of that concept or belief system has for you. And you'll be pleasantly surprised. Any attempt at a learning experience, however long the learning experience takes, is really courageous. And it is in the act of the seeking, or the act of the asking and listening, or the examination and listening, that is the moment of magic where you must be willing and able to live in the present. So this is also a card of being in the moment. If you're listening, you're completely present. So this could be another element of being aware and cognizant of being in the present this week, Aries. If this isn't a spiritual matter for you or a heady, larger belief system matter for you, it could simply be being aware and cognizant of being a better listener to people around you and to shed elements of judgment or bias. So just something to think about this week, Aries. Let's take a look at the card Music, which is to the right. So this could simply be, for some of my Aries friends, something as simple as finding answers or joy or camaraderie or even celebratory moments, or symbols and signs and concepts in music that you hadn't either seen before or picked up on before or were ready to accept before. I know when I was a child and I was listening to certain music, it affected me a very specific way that is different to how it affects me now, but it's the same music. So what changed? Well, the music didn't change, I changed. So this could be interesting, and it could be something also that has to do with eras. We know that art, music, like all art, is era centered. So it is culturally centered through time and era. So maybe just pay a little bit of attention rather, what kind of music is appealing to you, what you're listening to, why you're listening to it, how it makes you feel, what messages you're getting from it. Does it add to celebratory feelings? Do you use music to celebrate? Do you use it to soothe? Or something, again, something as simple and as pragmatic as going to see a concert this week, or starting a band, or being in a band, or recording music, or even getting back into the swing of singing, for example, if you've been out of habit playing an instrument or singing. If you're back into it this week, again, art and music are another examples of Taurus, the sign Taurus, its planet being Venus, which is, love and beauty and music and art. You could just find this week that you're more able to center yourself in the world of music, or you feel more centered by music. Or ultimately that your musical tastes have changed. So if they haven't changed or they're not shifting, I'm going to suggest that what you've been listening to all this time is affecting you a little differently this week, and perhaps even permanently. So again, not a bad thing. It's really situations of further growth here, which is great. No one needs to stagnate. Sometimes we need to stop, slow down, or face things, but I think over the past couple of weeks, all astrological signs in the last couple of weeks have been doing a lot of contemplation and a lot of thinking and reordering and restructuring. And I think this week is maybe just a week to celebrate what you've become or overcome, to keep listening to messages that are important to you after having asked some questions, and your musical tastes, your preferences, how you relate to the world, how music relates to you. And what is musical to you? I know in my own life, I consider the sound of birds singing to be one of the most beautiful musical sounds. Other people can't stand the sounds of birds. So what is beautiful music to you? What does it mean to you, and why? So just, and not in a, you don't have to torture yourself with this question, but maybe just look at your musical taste and what it means to you. And perhaps it is literally listening to music in order to celebrate something. So large or small, in a general manner, Aries, hopefully those messages appeal to you and make sense to you this week. We're looking at the card to the far left of the central issue, which is listening, and that is meditation. Now, because this is here as a qualifier to the card listening, this is asking you to take action. Okay, so meditation, it's a paradox, like some of the most beautiful things in nature. and also the most frustrating. Meditation is the practice of sitting still, but it takes enormous energy, dedication, and it takes a willingness. And these are all action orientated. You need to be dedicated to something. The word discipline is used a great deal in the Buddhist community or in the meditative community in general. You could feel the need to begin practicing either meditation or elements of meditation, or to even consider meditation or what meditation means to you. Again, so no large activities here, but just some questions around what meditation means to you. If you're not already in process of practicing meditation, you could become interested or more interested this week, Aries, in the practice of meditation, in relation to the other issues here going on with the listening and the music. And you could find, there could be some joy here. There could be an element of truth here. And you could just be brave enough this week, Aries, to say, I'm aware that meditation includes and demands going inward, and I'm bold enough this week to do that. So I really hope this is part of your weekly structure, even if you try it out once a week, even if it's a short meditative experience, even if it is simply finding yourself in a meditative experience, which isn't sitting on a cushion or the floor or the park and simply sitting still. Meditation happens within art, for example. Meditation can be planting or doing dishes. You could be in a meditative state folding laundry, for heaven's sakes. Meditation means being willing to be completely in the moment, okay? So whether sitting, as a some of us, when we imagine meditation, we imagine, this Buddhist state sitting still, and that's exactly where I went. I thought, well, meditation automatically means sitting still, but there are certainly different forms of it. So you might find meditative experiences throughout your day that don't include sitting still. But give it some thought this week, Aries. Give the idea that sitting still and achieving a state of meditation or being completely in the moment, completely in the now, some thought, as opposed to being actively meditative. So nothing overarchingly negative. I didn't expect anything like that. A little bit of obviously joy, camaraderie, music, feelings, sensations, elevation. Music can elevate or depress us, so depending on how you're using music this week. Listening requires asking questions, contemplating, and then meditation. So whether or not you're practicing meditation or you want to, or you're finding that even in everyday, say for example, domestic issues, you're finding yourself in a contemplative present moment, this is a moment of meditation. So please accept that as a moment of meditation for yourself, and don't be fooled by this, I guess I would say, this doctrine of, doing meditation a certain way or the right way or wrong way. That what you think is the right way to do it is the right way for you right now. So this is wonderful. This is a nice week for you. I think things are going to be fairly calm. But calm in the sense where you feel a little bit more at peace, but there's a lot of excitement or reason to celebrate. So that's lovely. I swear I try to keep these under 20 minutes. Anyway, let's look at some additional messages here from the Medicine Card Tarot for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week of April 30th to May 6th. Just some further enlightenment for Aries this week. Sun, Moon, and Rising as we come out of Taurus in retrograde. You'll have to let me know in the comments if any of this resonates with you, or if it appeals to you, or if you're finding I'm out in space when I'm looking at these cards and describing them. And certainly if any of the colors, images, numbers, or patterns appeal to you on an intuitive level, Aries, I encourage you to take what messages you feel intuitively from these cards as well. There we go. All right, the crow. The crow's keyword is the law. We're looking, the most immediate art descriptor here is the mirror image, the reflection. So we're looking at reflections of ourselves. We're looking at the law of attraction, the law of love, forgiveness, some of the greatest energies on the scene that we take for granted in our lives. So the power of love, the power of forgiveness, the power of attraction, and the law, the meaning behind these. So look at balance this week. Look at how you create or unhinge balance, or how other people, if they bring this into your life, how it's manifested and how you deal with it. And also how you relate to other people. Aries, are you judge, jury, and executioner? Or are you friend first and foremost and willing to accept people for who they are, including yourself? Or do you require judgment, right, in terms of the law, justice? Does someone always need their comeuppance? Are you addicted to karma? Do you think that karma is always the answer? Do you wait for karma? I'm going to suggest this week that this card means to examine your element, your attitude about karma and justice, and why you think those ways. And if you truly want the best for yourself, that you truly want the best for others, and that itself is its own law. So to want the best for yourself and to believe that you're deserving is to believe that everyone else deserves the best, and can achieve the same things. So just look at balance and imbalance this week, particularly emotionally or karmically, Aries. And you could be mad at somebody, or somebody might be mad at you, but it's going in circles. It doesn't make any sense. So just examine why you would participate in that. It's not going to serve you. However, if you're looking at it from a different perspective, where you're going to examine, right, meditate on the law and your attitudes about that, do that as well. So the additional message from the Wisdom of the Oracle is a loyal heart. You're surrounded by a lot of love and loyalty this week. You risk losing nothing this week, Aries. So really be bold and brave in expressing yourself and expressing your ideas, your fantasies even. I know there's lots of hearts here, it looks romantic, but not only to your your lover, but to friends, family, and even other people that you have items of interest with. That if you feel that you're closer to a group or that you understand someone better, really let it be known and make yourself available this week. So my dear Aries, I hope all that made sense to you and resonated in a lovely and healing way. Do let me know what you think of this in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you for your next week's reading following May 6th. Take good care. Bye for now.